Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're joining you live from Dwight Schrute's Christmas Carnage Potluck Buffet, where all of the protein dishes are made from freshly cooked roadkill. I mean, he knows some people. They're innovative here out in the country.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Allan, I see you're digging into your souffled skunk. Very good. Taking advantage of, Brandon once again is looking at me in disgust. Totally useless. It doesn't play over the radio.
I'm just not getting in line here.
Yeah, that's the problem. Brandon has got a rebellious streak that really, undercuts my, anyway.
Look, we had a chance to have good food, but no, you had to bring in another bad sponsor.
Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our pal Max behind the glass. We've got food for you, Brandon, if you must.
See, I've been looking at those containers that Allan is hiding over in the corner.
Yeah.
It's got to be better than the skunk.
We're somehow, I don't know how, Allan talked us into bringing another one of these Geek Eats segments, which I think plays great on the radio. We'll sit there and eat things that you can't see and talk about them for 10 minutes.
I hate to tell you this, Joe, but if you actually break down the units of our show, the Geek Eats segments get almost as many views as his science segments.
Okay, well that's
it's kind of sad. I think he's paying people.
Maybe that says more about us, you guys. So, and then Allan, Allan's going to be he's got a heavy footprint on today's show. He does have a science segment that's much more in keeping, in my opinion, reproducing robots. We got a checklist there of all the monster movies and all the science fiction films.
I can check every sci-fi horror movie checkbox you need. I can check them all today.
Yeah, we've got that. And
half of them are in the Geek Eats segment.
Yeah, if we have time, you guys, I'm throwing this out there. If we've got time, and at least this week and maybe in the weeks ahead, we're going to talk about some geek Christmas viewing recommendations.
Okay.
There's a lot of movies that are both geeky and Christmassy, and of course there's always that age-old debate whether Die Hard is actually a Christmas movie, that type of thing. So they're
making ornaments for it.
Yeah, we may sprinkle in.
It has a Christmas storybook now.
Oh, I've got one. I got one last year on Secret Santa. So we've got that. So that's all coming at you today on Geek Tank Radio. Real quick, I just want to say, boy, the food references are really heavy today. If you are out there, I have a public service announcement, and this is my recommended viewing. If anybody out there is a fan of the Great British Baking Show, do yourself a favor. This is hands down the best season they've ever had. I don't know if you guys are up to date. I've already seen who the winner is. Don't get on the internet and let it and ruin it for you, because this one played out. It was really cool, you guys. So
yeah, I'm literally at the beginning of this season. I didn't even realize new episodes were dropping, because over on the History Channel, they unlocked all 194 episodes of Forged in Fire. So I've kind of been binging there. Between that and Hawkeye, I don't have any time.
Well, just if you're out there and you're interested in the Great British Baking Show, don't let anybody spoil it for you, because it plays out in a unique way. And I will say this isn't a spoiler. You know how there's those contestants that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till they go home because they're getting on my nerves. I didn't really have that this season. Mostly you're kind of like, I don't want to say any more, but I'll be very curious who you guys wind up rooting for.
Okay.
Because everybody picks their favorites, right? So one other public service announcement. Well, I don't know if this is a public service announcement, but since you guys don't seem to care about Lost in Space Season 3, is that true, Brandon?
Yeah, that's completely true. I just don't care.
I don't get that, man, because the Lost in Space remake, I could see if you're just hearing about this and you didn't realize that like 4 years ago Netflix remade Lost in Space, do not think this has nothing to do with the 60s one. This is cool. This is, or even that 90s movie or whatever that made that.
Nobody wants to remember that exists.
For my money, this is one of the best science fiction, miniseries, whatever you call it. It's the season 3 sounds like it's going to be the final one, but I will tell you, Judy Robinson is just, she deserves her own show. She's awesome in this. So, but I'll be following this show with great interest, and we may report in once we're finished with it.
It's pretty much getting the Netflix special, 3 seasons, and you're gone.
I think that's better. Honestly, that's sometimes they drag stuff out too long. So I hate to say it, Alan. I really hate to say this. I feel like they could have wrapped up Attack on Titan a little quicker. That's one of my favorite animes of all time, but I feel like, he got a little carried away with himself and drug the story out a little longer than it needed to be, and it loses momentum when you do that.
Yeah, he was being paid by the word and by the frame, so...
That's what I think, too. So it's like, I think 3 seasons, you get in, you tell your story, you
bow
get
out before you get boring, because that's the worst thing you can do is bore your audience.
Yeah, and of course we've got on Disney Plus, we've got Hawkeye unfolding each week, and what do we got on that, Brandon? Like 8 episodes, or how much is that going to be?
It's 6 episodes. We are halfway through the season.
Okay, so we'll probably chime in on that because that's been a lot of fun, and it is that weekly reveal instead of binge watching. All at once, so that'll be cool. So we're gonna just be sitting around in December watching television.
Do we ever do anything else when it's not baseball season?
Absolutely. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're gonna take a quick break, and then I guess we're gonna dig into our Geek Eats.
Geek Tank Radio. News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Brandon, I told you that we were coming back on the air. Get with it. And
I wasn't ready.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass. And, all right, somehow, I don't know how this relates to being, geeks or superheroes or science fiction or fantasy or anything, but Allan is going to give us another one of these Geek Eats segments.
Let me go ahead.
But you made a good point off the air, Brandon, that I have to concede.
Okay, and it's true. But we're not going to get into that because I know that it just will rile you up in your anger.
Yeah.
And we are going to try and stay positive because it is a festive season. But I'm going to tell you why this is a geeky segment.
Okay.
Because based on the algorithm, people listen to this segment over and over again when we're on the podcast.
Okay, we'll see. Allan, it's your task to make it entertaining, because Brandon did tell me, he goes, well, if you can talk about the Cubs on a geek show, I guess we can talk about food. So, all right. But,
hey, you said it now.
But you did bring us some snacks today.
Geeks are so much more into food, let me tell you.
And let's face it.
Hey, wait. Have you seen what they throw down at the concession stand at the Cubs games?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Allan, let's be honest. Your true passion lies in food, right? You sort of, that's what you live for. You're a chef. You.
This is not a newsflash to anybody but you, Joe.
No, I didn't say it's a new. We always get new listeners every week. I want people to understand who they're dealing with.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that when we were doing cooking today, the people in the studio where we recorded that gained 50 pounds.
Yeah,
easily,
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to start recording again, Brandon. Nudge,
I know,
nudge, wink, wink.
And what I'm saying is that everybody here needs to remember to bring their elastic pants.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I noticed Allan's been bribing the good people here at all the Cumulus stations. Every Thursday you go on the morning show and with Ditch and Jeff, and you bring food, which is a good way to get through the door.
Yeah, I am now officially the food dude for the Roar of Memphis. So I'm very excited about that. And, of course, you can follow along and play swap recipes with me if you go to the cookingtodayshow.com, where you can see all of Brandon and I's past misadventures on the radio and cooking. And coming up very soon, Brandon and I will be cooking on video. So
now that makes more sense.
It's about to happen.
Are you going to use the good kitchen? I mean, the kitchen here at Cumulus is... It's a lot nicer than my kitchen.
We got
beautiful.
keys.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. We got keys on late
it.
nights, don't we, Brandon?
I don't have late nights. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
you never
early
stay
to
up all
bed,
night.
early to rise kind of guy over here.
Yeah.
Well,
in reverse, you live like a vampire.
So, Allan, what is this thing you brought in? Because you gave us each one, and I was amazed how heavy it is for its size. So.
Yes. Okay, well, first off, let's go back to Halloween. What's everybody's favorite vegetable at Halloween?
Yeah, pumpkins.
Pumpkins. Okay. All right, the one thing that I absolutely hate is watching a good pumpkin go to waste.
Yep.
So what you have in front of you there, sir, is a freshly murdered.
He called he called these off my front porch the day after Halloween.
Freshly murdered. I like
a freshly murdered small pie pumpkin, and just to show people how versatile food can be, what you have in front of you is a mini bundt cake.
Yeah, it looks cool, Alan. I'm not going to lie. It looks like one of those whatever cakes, they're like a donut, but with grooves or something.
Well, I have a wide variety of pans at home, and I decided to go for the little bundt cake look.
Yeah.
And I used a very dense, non-rising bread mixture and made holiday pumpkin bread out of it. So it features all of the great spices, your cinnamons, your nutmeg, ginger, and cloves. So the holy trinity of pumpkin spice. And congratulations, you can make them in any shape you want. You can get all kinds of genre with them.
What's really cool is if you turn the shape that he used upside down, it looks like one of the gremlin cocoons has popped open.
Oh, let me do that. So, yeah. Oh, the bottom isn't as attractive as the top, Alan, I will say. So.
That's why he didn't put them upside down.
Okay. Yeah. But I will say it's good. I'm not as big of a pumpkin fan, but I do like this. This seems like it'd be really good with a glass of milk.
Oh, good cup of coffee.
We got to remember that the next time he brings in dessert, someone needs to bring the milk.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you need. So
well, I'll put one in the bag. So the biggest thing here is when we get into the holiday season, to all of our fellow members of the wonderful world of geekdom, of genre cooking it's time. This is your season. Halloween all the way through Valentine's is themed cooking, themed meals, of be adventurous, of explore. As Brandon just said, if the mold I used for this, I could have very easily turned this into an egg from Alien.
And then after the themed cooking season with Valentine's, you get the themed drinking season with St. Patrick's Day, and you drink the Romulan ale.
There you go.
Well, I just wait for Mid-South Con for that, but that's around the same time.
Okay, Alan, you did make me think of something. Let's suppose that was pretty good, Max, because I'm just thinking. Let's suppose you're throwing a dinner party like the bizarre ones you like to throw, Alan. And so what if it's themed. Okay, tonight is a Harry Potter themed dinner. Okay, do you think in terms of, here's what I'm wondering. You could emphasize the ingredients. You can emphasize a certain taste, or you could emphasize the shape of the dishes, or you get real creative and do both. Like where does your head go for this?
All right, I go to D, all of the above.
Okay.
I'm going to get into the time, the texture, the presentation, the flavors, and the overall effect I want for the meal. So you brought up probably one of the best genres to pick on.
Well, because if you read Harry Potter, folks, by the way, or if you listen to the audiobooks, you're going to be starving every time, because at least every 15 pages, she's like, yeah, they were in the Great Hall enjoying roast beef and potatoes or whatever. And
yes.
Alan, I just don't hope that you ever make a Harry Potter-themed food and it's the Dementors. I don't want you making food that sucks the life out of people. Has the special ingredient in it.
No, that can be done. That can so be done.
That has happened. It's
no kidding. So, okay. Too late, Max. He's already done that.
You think that you're eating roasted hippogriff, and then you start to go into a coma.
Oh gosh. So
okay.
Yeah.
So here's the idea. So let's say we're gonna throw the big Hogwarts meal bash. Okay. So and the book is really, and this is where I really love getting into the books and movies, because the pivotal scenes, every major pivotal scene, every big stage setter, and every wrap up is the Great Hall.
Sure.
So we're going to go in there. And
where all the business gets taken care of.
Well, and this right here is a Hogwarts special, by the way, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because
they do have pumpkin flavors in a lot.
They eat a lot of pumpkin, and there's a reason for that. In medieval times, pumpkins stored easily. They were fairly easy to grow, and it's a vegetable, so long as you kept it from freezing, would stay pretty good in the cool of the house or the root cellar.
Yeah.
So here we go. So Hogwarts has got a roast beef dinner. Okay. And I'm going to tell people, don't overreach. If you're not great at cooking, take one item at a time and and basically figure it out.
Okay, so don't start getting flustered and going, well, I got to come up with 6 different offerings.
What you want to do...
Maybe you have a centerpiece.
Try one. I'm going to tell anybody, if you're trying to learn how to cook or you're trying to become a better cook, of just stick to the simple stuff, whatever you normally do, but take one thing and experiment.
I recommend a sausage and sage based meatloaf that you refer to as roasted cave troll.
And remember, shape and color and presentation are all a lot of the fun.
Well, here's what I was going to get at, Alan, because I probably shouldn't have. Well, okay, Harry Potter is that's a very reasonable dinner theme because they actually eat really good food at Hogwarts, and they even if they have something exotic like something from the joke shop, it's nothing you couldn't do. But what if you were throwing a science fiction dinner and somehow you got to convey, I don't know, like you're having a robot themed dinner party or something? How do you convey that? That's the part I think would be tricky. What if you have to make a metallic cupcake?
Well, no. So
that is not that hard, actually.
Here's something
to be honest with you.
Here's something that's actually kind of amazing with that, Joe, is that every meat continues to cook itself when you've cooked it originally in aluminum foil. So you take it out, and I mean, you fashion robot arms and things like that, and you just got them laid out. You peel back the metal skin and eat the innards.
Okay, because I'm thinking it would be easy to just make a cake in the shape of a robot. That's a cop-out. I think you need to go deeper, like with tastes and with textures and something a little more subtle.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's all about nuance. Like tonight, I'm having a Friendsgiving because we couldn't all be together around Thanksgiving, but we're red-blooded, capitalist Americans.
Amen, bro.
So what we do is turkey burgers. I do a mashed potato and gravy schmear, which is almost like just like a cheese smear on top of it.
Okay.
We do a cranberry mustard. We do sweet potato fries, things like that. So we're still getting that hardcore grilling American style, but it's all stuff that would have normally been on your plate at Thanksgiving as far as the flavors.
Okay. Huh. So, Allan, you would I'm because I don't know. Allan's looking pretty eager to weigh in on this. So how would you convey a robot or something science fiction-y? I don't know.
Well, all you have to do is think of the end effect, and it's kind of like when you and I are contractors. It's not necessarily what's behind the scenes, but what people see.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of things you can do with pastas, food colorings, sprinkles, and that kind of stuff to create the effect that you want.
Don't eat the metallic Parmesan cheese.
Yeah. Okay. I hate to admit this because, I was very skeptical about doing another Geek Eats segment, but actually I've got more questions for you, Allan. We haven't even exhausted this.
Awesome.
So, I guess we're going to have to hit that when we come back. But don't worry, folks. We're also going to talk about horrifying science that is sure to become the science fiction of the future when we talk about reproducing robots. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio. News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Brandon, close the window. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass.
I got to keep these windows open. You still have that skunk on your plate.
Well, hey, guys, so early, if you just tuned in, for one thing, if you did just tune in and you're upset that you missed any of Geek Tank Radio, never fear. You can catch us on Spotify. Allan's actually been a lot quicker to get that stuff posted these days than
I love how he always wants to throw you
past.
under the bus, man.
Well, I know.
Well,
It's
Spotify's
okay.
a good platform. We highly recommend it, and actually you can listen to other material that we provide. I mean, we're big supporters of Motormouth Radio, Tool Talk Radio, a lot of fine programming here. Really, just on Saturdays, just listen. Don't turn your dial.
Yeah, all they have to do is pop over to geektankradio.com. They can catch up on all the past episodes. Smash that Spotify button, and you'll pop over, and you can take us with us. You can just travel around and binge the whole thing. You can also look up Dark Oak Media, and you can catch all of our other programming.
Did you just use the word smash that?
I smashed that
Isn't
button,
that what,
baby.
like isn't that already kind of a dated reference? I
I
know
know it
people
is.
say that, and then Alan's trying to sound cool.
I
it's
am a
'cause you're-
dated reference.
Makes him sound.
Wayback Machine. That's his gimmick.
I don't know. Hey guys, so I was very skeptical once Allan brought in food. Now he brings in food, and it's always delicious. However, I'm like, who wants to talk about food on a geek radio show? And yet now I'm Allan. I've been roped in. We were talking about like geek themed dinners, and off the air we actually had some ideas about not only creating themes with the presentation, like low hanging fruit would be make a cake in the shape of something or whatever.
Right.
Well, like and our friend Frank Chin, I saw a post that he put up on Facebook where it was like a sausage, a turkey, and something else that when you step back, it looked like a face hugger from
Those
Aliens.
were crab legs.
Yeah,
Crab
those are
legs.
snow crab legs.
Right.
Yes.
So you got the surf and turf going on that. But so I guess my thing was one of the ideas I had, Allan, was let's suppose you're throwing a robot or a science fiction themed dinner, and you want to think about like science and not just in the presentation but in the taste. Well, isn't it true that if you put like orange juice inside of like a metallic, like a thermos or something,
Yes.
it gives you that real metal and acidy taste? So I was wondering, would that
You're
work
creating
like for
a battery.
Well, would it work for like if you took a screwdriver as orange juice and vodka or something?
Yes.
Would it still work in that situation? 'Cause I'm
Yes.
thinking that could be a fun cocktail you serve.
No wonder no one goes to your parties, Joe. Sheesh.
He's
Well, I'm
going to
just
throw
thinking-
a 6-penny nail on that bad boy and tell you, have at it.
It's an accent, I don't know. So that's the way.
I'm
to be
throwing a
creative.
carpentry party.
Yeah.
Why is there wood in the ice?
Well, I mean, wouldn't that work? And that's just the begin. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's probably a lot of because taste and smell is one of the strongest triggers for our emotions, right? Or
It's also
set
one of the
memories.
strongest triggers for vomiting.
I don't know, man. What would be the aromatic trigger for like the Bride of Frankenstein or something like?
Okay, all right, you're very, very good. All right,
Seared meat.
Yeah.
there you go. Boom. I'm looking at Brandon over there, going, all right, Brandon, it's time for you and I to shine here.
Okay.
Look at the era that you're trying to reproduce, because the great thing about something like, let's say, The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
you know what? Frog legs are tasty.
So,
And
Everybody
Baby
loves
Yoda loves
macaroons.
them frogs.
Yeah.
So, we have these themes, and as Brandon has pointed out many, many times, anytime you sit down to a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner or an Easter luncheon, you are sitting down to genre food.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. They have certain foods for a certain
But here's the
certain
thing.
occasion.
Food out of place and time becomes very, very special. For instance, yesterday I decided, since New Year's is coming up far sooner than we think it is,
Oh yeah.
because
Like
it's
This
5
year
weeks,
flew
right?
by.
it's Christmas. You blink your eyes twice, and it's New Year's. Of last night, I was sitting there trying to think of what I want to do for dinner, and I had a little rice. I had an onion sitting there, and I kind of just as I got going, eventually what I ended up making was an andouille-based Hoppin' John based on jambalaya.
I don't understand one thing you said except jambalaya.
All right,
So-
well, basically, it was,
Andouille.
And the great thing about it is that jambalaya, no two recipes are the same.
ever.
Jambalaya, you just throw everything in.
Jambalaya is, I have a pot of rice, and now I'm going to clean out the fridge.
Right.
But-
Exactly.
Andouille is a sausage.
Okay.
And,
All
it's a Cajun-style sausage, but I had a can of black-eyed peas that I hadn't done anything with in a while, so guess what? Peas and rice go together, and that was a dish used to be known as Hoppin' John. Because that was, well, for people that couldn't afford a protein, peas and beans were how you got your protein. So they would make dishes of a lot of old traditional dishes. Now, when you begin looking at stories like The Mandalorian, and you look at all of these people in these survival situations, a lot of our older, what we would call lowbrow food or peasant food, or the less highfalutin foods, are exactly what people are going to be eating in these survival situations when you do shows like The Mandalorian and that type of thing.
Yeah, but you're not going to serve military rations at a dinner party or anything.
I can make it look like military rations.
Okay, so you present them that way, but then they still taste good.
Well,
so.
I mean, it's like if you wanted to make a chili and you're using, a lean beef, but you refer to it as a Kowakian monkey lizard, people will think that you cooked Salacious Crumb.
Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh, remember that? That was weird in The Mandalorian. Seeing those things roasting on a spit.
That's why I brought it up, is because
that was freaky.
All right, I remember trying to feed Joe a rock Cornish hen a couple of years ago that he wouldn't eat because it looked like a what, Brandon?
Was that when he thought it was
hens? Yeah. Yeah, what did it look like, a parrot or something? It's like
it was a pork.
Not from Star Wars.
That was there you go, Alan. I got a question for you. So we're talking about how, like, for example, there's a certain kind of stuffing that I would only eat during Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I always associated it with the stuffing that we had growing up, which we always look forward to. So it was a treat.
Right.
So that smell, there was some kind of rosemary or something in it, and the smell of that sage.
Yeah.
Okay, that smell triggered it triggered nostalgia. It triggered a nice happy memory.
Right.
Okay, well, let's suppose you're Rian Johnson and you made The Last Jedi, which everybody, anyway.
No, everybody hated that until Rise of Skywalker came out, and then 90% of the people who hated it now say he's a genius. That's because Star Wars fans, I love you guys, but you're dumb.
No, but anyway. Here's what I'm saying. So you got a movie like that. So to make it palatable to somebody like me, let's suppose Rian Johnson invited me over to his house to watch that. Could he make a food? If he served a delicious meal during The Last Jedi, would I associate that? Would I associate the positivity, and would that color my judgment on the movie?
Yes.
No, I disagree.
I think there may be some psychological thing to that.
I disagree. I
hope not. I think I'm smarter than that.
And it's only because of the fact that I have tried to delve into your brain, and it's a scary place. I believe that he could make the exact treat that you remember from your childhood growing up.
Yeah.
He could make it to the letter. But you would not enjoy it because you would continue to associate him with The Last Jedi, porgs, and the green milk scene.
So I would grow to hate that food.
Right.
Oh, see, Alan, well, what's stronger, the food or the influence?
No.
I'm going to disagree with Brandon.
No.
Okay.
Alan, in most human cases, it would go exactly how you say.
Oh, you're picking specifically on Joe.
In Joe's brain.
Okay, well, that's true.
What if it's more subtle? Because The Last Jedi is an extreme example.
So
if it was a movie where you're on the fence, like,
all right, well, here's what I would do
to
you.
Or leave it.
Here's what I would do to you.
Now you got me curious. How about we do something the reverse, where it's a movie that Joe actually really liked, but we serve terrible food and we psychologically associate. We do that with Black Panther.
Dude, Joe will never.
I don't know if you can make me hate that movie.
No, but Joe may never watch The Fountain again.
Oh,
that's
great
true.
movies. But Alan, what were you saying? And we cannot do the whole show about cooking, but now
we can.
Fired up. What were you saying, Alan?
Okay, all right. Well, here's what I would do. Let's take something that you would recognize from a movie. So let's say you're a war movie fan. So we're going to get a World War II mess kit.
Okay.
All right. These are actually very easily affordable. You can buy them online,
surplus.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Army surplus places. So you're going to have your give me a video game, Brandon.
Metal Gear Solid.
There you go. So you're going to have a Metal Gear Solid evening. So now you're going to go cook dinner, and I'm going to do a nice sage stuffing. I'm going to have the turkey. I'm going to have the cranberry and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to package it like an MRE in these mess kits.
So I may not like it.
Fire up the movie, turn on the video game, and now theme your meal with your activity for the evening. You're playing Gears of Steel, and here's your Gears of Steel meal package.
Wow.
So you got a great dinner, but you're totally on genre with exactly what the experience you've set up.
Who would have thought, you guys? You never know where this show is going. I never thought I'd even want to talk about this for 3 seconds. We can't, though. We got to shift gears, you guys. What a thought-provoking Geek Eats, Alan. That's one of your best. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break and then come back and talk about reproducing robots.
Geek Tank Radio. News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yeah, we're having fun today, I have to admit. And I was prepared to not have fun, Allan, once you brought in another Geek Eats segment, and lo and behold, it turned into something great. Anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorgerson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass. And Allan, we really got to move along. Although, in fairness, that the Geek Eats discussion was pretty interesting.
Well, now we're just going to talk about robots you can eat.
Yeah. So, is that what this is about? You talked about robots that can reproduce. I'm assuming that just means they can build other robots.
Well,
I mean, how does a robot reproduce? I'm just thinking it's like a factory, like in the Terminator.
No, Joe.
Right?
No, not even remotely.
Well, we're going to have to redefine robot for a moment.
Oh,
we're
here we
going to
go.
talk about is actually a xenobot.
we're going to call it's a synthetic AI.
Well, that's where I'm wondering. This is not just a clanking metal something. We're
No.
talking, flexible, kind
All right. Well,
partially.
All right. Well, the
organic.
idea of a robot is that it is an item designed to a purpose. And you could have like an automotive robot that all it does is pop in two welds, tap, tap, tap. We have robots now that learn the layout of your house and can run around and vacuum it up. We have robots that can learn the outlay of your yard and run around and cut your yard for you. We now basically have these little packages of technology everybody carries around with them. I think they still people still talk on those things, Brandon?
Not
I'm
the
sure
kids
somebody
today.
does.
Yeah, they're mostly for texting and looking at the internet, but
Yeah.
you can still make a phone call on them.
Right.
So welcome to robotics. We can't exist without it, especially me, considering I'm part robot.
Yeah.
However, it is an item designed to do a task. So if we were to custom design, I don't know, the stem cells of a frog, add a couple of heart cells to keep it alive, and design its function based on its genetic makeup, AI programming, and shape, you would have a xenobot. You would have a living robot.
Okay, but is that a robot or is that what? I mean, we're sort of getting into something a little different than a robot.
No,
aren't we?
you're just using biology instead of metallurgy.
Okay, so it's basically the way the mechanics of the way it functions is the same, but it's just in a different shell. It's not in a big heavy metal can. Basically,
That's
It's
correct. That's
okay.
right. Instead of it, we're using biology instead of metallurgy. So instead of activating it with a battery, it self-generates its own power.
Or instead of activating it with a scroll like a golem, we're getting into ceramics instead. I just thought I'd bring that up because that's what it made me think of.
And in
golem.
many ways, you're on the market there.
Wait, a golem is what though? That's a term. I'm trying to
Well, the
remember.
golem was basically a entity made from mud, activated by the power of suggestion, aka a
gotcha.
scroll placed under its tongue.
Okay.
But it was basically a earth-based, or if you want to call it an organic device designed to perform a specific function.
Okay.
So in many ways, your golems, your ideas of having gargoyles, your ideas of all of these ancient ideas.
Or even Enkidu, like from the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yes, you have things designed to perform a function.
Okay.
So here we are now taking it to another step. Michael Levine at Tufts University basically took the idea, if we took a few little frog stem cells, added a heart cell or two to it just to make sure we had the biologics balanced out, could we create its function due to its shape? So they ran a very long and very complicated algorithm to decide what they wanted it to do, and shockingly, it did it.
Is that okay? Wait.
The
a
look
minute.
on your face is priceless.
Well,
Joe.
here's what I'm getting. Okay, you use some term. Okay, you said they introduced some heart material.
Yes.
What does that do? That just makes it...
Well, the cells have to have some way of moving materials in and out of them, and a heart cell sets up its own rhythm.
Okay, but when you say cell, okay, so how
Literally
small are we talking?
a cell.
So this is all on a microscopic level.
We're at nano level, yes.
And how much processing can a nano robot do? Like, I'm distinguishing between the organic material and the actual synthetic robot material.
Okay.
And how much information and how many tasks could a microscopic thing do? Or do they team up and then make them smarter?
If you put it on a 1-to-1 scale with you, it can get 3 houses built in the same amount of time it takes you to order lumber.
Okay, well, that much processing power in a little microscopic thing. That's what I'm kind of getting at, because I don't know. Am I thinking about this wrong? And plus, I don't see where the reproducing part comes in other than the synthetic.
You're thinking about it in a direction that the reason why we need people like Allan to explain it to us.
Yep.
We have normal human brains. He has crazy science brain.
I don't know, though. Allan's also likes misdirection, and he does have a perverse way of wanting to torment me and not give me direct answers and make me upset and make me, whatever. So, Allan, I don't see the reproducing part yet. All I'm seeing is that you got some cell. Okay, well,
we haven't got to that
1 hour
part yet.
show, Allan.
Let's just get you to the fact that this is a robot.
Okay.
So
you say. But,
well,
okay.
a robot has to be able to function to perform its task. In a biological setting, that means you have to meet all the biological needs, just like you would meet the cooling needs or hydraulic needs or power needs of any other robot.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
Okay,
I got another question, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, what's your question?
Here's my question. Okay, so I'm thinking of a robot, and for lack of a better term, let's just think of a Tesla. Let's just think of a car.
Okay.
I don't know, let's suppose we get one of these self-driving cars.
Right.
Okay, you build the car at the factory. It's made of a specific material. It's got glass, metal, wood, or whatever.
It's made out of a lot of different
materials. Well, I feel like when a Tesla rolls off the assembly line, you're going to get predictable results because they can quality test it. They make sure that all the welds are correct.
Right.
They make sure. Okay, well, and I would think even to a degree, the microscopic robots, you can get some predictable results. Well, I feel like if you're talking about mixing it with something that grows itself, like these cells, I feel like, what if they don't grow the way we want them to? What if they, I feel like each one, because isn't it true that no two frogs are identical, no two people are identical, no two organic beings?
Or just like how, with cancer cells are just cells that were meant to die and everything, they don't die. And so what if now we get an artificial intelligence equivalent of a cancer cell?
Yeah, what if exactly. What if some are stronger than others? What if
this was a good idea or a good thing?
Well, that's where I'm going. I'm like, you're mixing these two together, and I feel like the biological part could be very unpredictable, Allan.
Well, congratulations. You're dead on the money to half the argument.
There you go. See, Brandon, don't make fun of me
anymore. You are
anymore.
dead on the money. Now, the other half of the argument is, what can this now do? Because this is relatively new. We're only a couple of years into this quote unquote technology. So what are the possibilities? What can we do with this? Of why do things do what they do? And we're going back to basic questions asked by Dr. Isaac Asimov. Of why do robotic toys clump together? We don't know. They just do. Of when you set up these xenobots and you put several of them together, they're all designed the same, they will redesign their own layout around each other.
Oh boy, here we go. Here the rebellion begins, Brandon. This is what I was getting at.
So they can self-organize. They are designed to perform a function. Now, how many different functions we can design them to do going forward, this is the birth of a new technology. You talk about, we talked about earlier today about certain events or certain products or certain things that are fundamental, drastic changes in how things are done.
Game changers.
This could honestly be one of those things. of, well, let's just say for the instance that you need insulin. You're a diabetic. Well, why couldn't we develop a biological robot to produce the insulin you need as you need it, thus taking the place of the normal organic feature in your body that failed?
So you take a pill filled with nanobots, and that thing just does its job till,
Well, you're looking at a general premise of, I believe it was a entire DS9 was that when the little bots that invaded your body and kept you alive. I think there were several episodes based on that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So congratulations, welcome to a very different take on the future of robotics, and it's not metallic.
Okay, but reproducing, I still don't see the reproducing side of this.
But the cellular mitosis can take place, and the robots can replicate themselves.
How does a metal thing?
It's not metal.
Why-
These are stem cells.
It's still organic material, Joe.
Okay, I guess that's what's hanging me up. I'm thinking of these boards that have like circuits and all this other stuff on a microscopic level.
You're hung up on the traditional thought of what a robot is.
See, that's where it's going to get messy, though, Alan. What if they start inventing robot dogs that they basically live for 100 years, but they look just like a regular Cocker Spaniel?
We hadn't got there yet.
We're getting there. Yeah, it's going to be a big mess.
Imagine that same thing, but at the same time, the nanobots that are in you that have kept you healthy are part of that dog's system, so that when you shut down, he shuts down.
Yeah.
The dog is with you your entire life.
Yeah, the big trick here is predicting how this is all going to end, because it's like the apocalypse is coming somehow through technology.
True,
it's just a question of how.
Well, I mean,
there's too many options these days.
Here's
Alan.
the thing about technology. It's just, like 1.1% of the population is allergic to tree nuts.
Yeah.
Do we stop harvesting peanuts? No.
Well, we plow ahead, just like
we will with this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Just like we do with the synthetic woods and the recycled Lego houses.
Yeah, what a long, strange journey it's been, humanity. My gosh! So, but this, all right. Well, Alan,
I think it's had a good run. Maybe it's time to end it.
We've had a good run here on Geek Tank Radio too. But
that's what
guys,
I was talking about.
It's time to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Ellen Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, challenging you to hit us up with your Christmas viewing, since we didn't get to it this week.